You've seen this before.
Under certain conditions and on a temporary basis, absolutely. We can go into detail on those conditions if you'd like, but it must be, somebody has to oversee it. There must be supervision.
Would you like to see something, just a follow-up, would you like to, as far as managing, would you like to see that passed on to caseworkers or counsel for the homeless or maybe faith-based? I mean, what options are you looking at as far as managing? Like, so you locate, you're the mayor, you're locating sites, whether they be public land, empty public land, or private owners. You know, you're kind of still married to the idea. So what would you like to see? Would you like to see a faith-based initiatives or just nonprofits?
Statistically, faith-based programs have the highest rate of success. That is what I would like to see. Now, what kind of conditions they're going to be under and how do we evict those people that do not comply to the standards that have been outlaid, that still needs to be worked. But tough love, faith-based organizations have the highest rate of success, and that's what we need to implement.
Thank you.
Well, actually, we already have this opportunity because our faith-based, our churches are allowed to do just exactly that. I wouldn't limit it, or I wouldn't have just limits of huts, tents, and mobile tiny homes. We have David Bilby with Go Connect who has Safe Park that is also parking cars and mobile homes and trailer houses, and those are all on church sites, and the churches have that opportunity to manage it, have the ownership of that. But I'm looking for those shelter opportunities that integrate the approach of working with individuals and their families in order to make sure that we have stability and access to health, counseling, job training, skill training, those types of ideas. But we're looking at all of those, and they're happening right now. Not just downtown, we're looking for the distribution of services. So moving that day center to other locations will also provide those opportunities.
As far as a follow-up, in all of those things, you know, outreach is really, really important. But when you look at the pie chart, commonly outreach gets a rather small kind of sliver of the pie when it comes to money. In doing those things, would you be looking to increase the amount of funds that are spent on those folks who are really pounding the pavement and putting in that work?
And all of those faith-based and nonprofits have the opportunity to apply for funds from the city of Vancouver. We have what they call CDBG. You have a definition in here, but we also have home. So they have the opportunity to apply for additional funds to support that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I absolutely think that this is something we need to do. Right now, much of the camping is, the outreach is struggling to reach these people and connect them with the services they need. If it's more centrally located on bus lines, that they can connect with the services they need, I think we're going to see a lot of benefit from something like that.
Thank you. I think we're going to start over here with Linda. You haven't been able to go fairly early yet, so we'll start here with Michelle.
I would support public-private tiny villages of huts or tiny homes in city limits. I'm not feeling very comfortable about tents. I just don't know if they're conducive to our weather. That seems a little cold. I mean, I don't like it when it's a rainy night and I'm in a tent. I think that they should have restrooms and laundry and access to services to help the residents seek more permanent housing. I've read of several communities around our area that have been successful, and so I would support that, inner city limits.
Thank you.
Yes, I would commit to publicly locating, locating either public or privately land vacant with us in the city. As a matter of fact, about 15 months ago, after I organized my Feeding with Friends group with our church, I met with Councilor Hanson about an idea I had for a safe tent community for the homeless, a place where they could sleep without fear of being assaulted at night. At the time, the plan wasn't in fit for the city, but when I become your city councilor, I plan on dialing that in and making that plan or part of a similarity, something like it.
Thank you.
I think that I do. I believe that different lots around the city should be designated for portable homes, as well as, like I've said multiple times today, the container communities that are along bus routes that can provide easy access to whether it's employment, whether it's food, whether it's even voting. They need to vote too, and they need to. They're part of society, and I think we need to make sure that they're included as much as possible.
Let me ask, because I wasn't on the ball asking people, this is a yes or no question, so let me rephrase it and raise your hand if you will actually endorse the idea of having land, public or private, that you will push to locate available land as close as central city as possible, but at least within the city limits, for individual homes, so huts, tiny homes, whatever, on land. They could be even located in storefronts. In Seattle and Portland, they are on floors of office buildings. So are you willing to push for, I understand that a couple of you mentioned, well, we've already got this, not in numbers that are really helping people. And you would not have the conflict with the business owners this way. We're trying to balance the interests of the business owners who want them out of their tent at a certain hour. So would you look for expansion of, I'm not talking about car camping. I know there are programs that include that. I'm talking about surplus property with the city. Again, as Mr. Cox or Lieutenant Colonel Cox.
Call me Steve.
I'll call you Steve. Okay. As he said, that basically it would be, I'm not saying that they would be able to stay there forever. It's a temporary rather than living in a tent downtown in a business doorway. Just raise your hand if you would propose that. So 4 of you? 5?
Some variance. Yeah.
Okay.
You
can't, all the specifics.
That's pretty broad. Right.
Have the 2 candidates finished?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm in favor of land, public, private, allocated for huts, but we need to understand these people are going to need electricity, they're going to need bathrooms. Wi-Fi is good for finding employment, access to public transportation. Those are all important things. I have an idea where we can locate. Now, this is in the affordable housing plan, but it's a little different. They want to find homes that are bank-owned and allocate them. I want to investigate the banks that have illegally foreclosed on these homes and seize these homes and have an opportunity to give them to people that qualify. And if the banks don't like that, well, we can maybe prosecute them for illegally foreclosing on them. But anyways, the code enforcement has a lot of power, so these little huts are going to need, the codes are going to have to change. And also, if we could have some kind of transitional housing facilities, much like a shelter, but gets people into row homes, that'd be awesome too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so in a yes or no statement, I do not support tents or huts. I would support tiny homes, and it could be on both public or private property. But like many of the candidates here tonight, it would need to be under certain conditions. I think the social service element and funding is critical. The Council for the Homeless worked for a year trying to locate a spot where we could do just this. And both the private sector and the faith community couldn't come up with a solution. And we can't steal from the CDBG and home funds because that takes away from the current programs that rely on that funding to give critical services. So this is where we start talking about our housing levy money and we start talking about our partnership with the county.
So, I mean, just to follow up on that, it's really kind of a neighborhood community coalition building there where you can bring different aspects of your community together and really kind of hash these things out. That's what you're saying. In all of you saying yes or no to this, you're saying you're supporting opening the dialogue, opening the conversation, and getting people together in order to do that. You're not necessarily just saying one act, you're saying actively seeking.
Yeah, I would be actively seeking, which the active seeking has taken place, it is taking place. It has not happened. But the big thing, I think, is looking at models like in Olympia, Coyote Village is a self-managed facility. There are amazing models in Austin, Texas that are doing great things. Right now, San Francisco is looking at Blockables, which is a company based here in Vancouver who will be building what's similar to these ideas of trailers, but instead they're good construction at low cost that have case management units. There are models out there that we can look to as a city, and yes, we should be doing it, but I don't want huts or tents.
Yes, I'm absolutely in favor of transitional housing, tiny homes for sure. Like the Kenton neighborhood is just, I believe they just opened a facility over there, about 10 or 15 homes. They're very small, so I would expect things to be larger than what they've got. But something that allows people to get out of tents. I'm totally against tents, type of housing that's going to break down, especially at winter time. So definitely, I think there's a lot of city property that could be looked at as far as making small pilot programs that would test that out. So that would be what I would definitely be in favor of.
Thank you very much.
I definitely support it. I support pilot programs. We should have probably several programs. We can test out which one works the best at getting them out of certain situations. So we could possibly use Prop 1 money, possibly, if there's room available, to help create pilot programs. And this obviously it would take a couple years to look at the results, the evidence, then we can see which ones work best at getting them out of these situations. So yes, I support the dialogue. I support working together with our faith-based partners, other nonprofits.
Thank you.
I am also open for dialogue. I think that given the magnitude of this crisis, we need to get creative and at least throw ideas out and see what we can work with. And I really support the tiny homes idea that's being pushed by the Community Roots Collaborative specifically. I like that there is a huge emphasis on community and building a safety net within this group of homes and working on self-sufficiency and through gardening programs and the like. I think that those kinds of programs are really important to be looking at as well.
Thank you.
I think I have a pretty good understanding where the question is coming from, but I'll tell you this. I don't think institutionalizing a tent city is giving our homeless population the respect and attention they deserve. I believe there's options out there. I don't think we've exhausted all of them. What we really need action to create more housing and emergency shelters. And I believe that saying, here's a corner lot for a tent city, isn't actually doing that. As I said earlier, I'm committed to finding the solutions that do more than provide another Band-Aid fix.
Thank you.